I am former Supreme Security Director Scansolan, now Field Commander of the Liberation Forces in the Proxima Sector, and I am about to violate every principle of warfare I was taught in 3 centuries of military service. 2 weeks have passed since I joined the Liberation Movement. 2 weeks of intensive training in what the Knights call quantum adaptive tactics, a blend of traditional Shenath strategic principles and human unpredictability. I've noticed the Texas Knights have a peculiar tendency to add the word quantum to nearly everything they do, whether it actually involves quantum physics or not. Quantum coffee breaks, quantum maintenance schedules, quantum card games. It's as if the word itself has become a talisman for them, a symbol of their embrace of unpredictability. 2 weeks of relearning everything I thought I knew about battle command. "Status report," I order, surveying the holographic battle map in the command center of our flagship, the Adaptive Response. A captured Imperium dreadnought whose name had once been the inevitable conclusion. The irony of the rename is not lost on me. 5,743,822,657,412 battle droids deployed in formation, my tactical officer reports, with traditional Shenath precision. All sub-commanders in position. Human diversionary attack will commence in 17 minutes. "And Stella's link?" I asked, referencing the artificial intelligence I first encountered during my failed counterattack on Echo 9-1, the AI whose insights had played no small part in my decision to join the Liberation. "Connection stable, Commander," replies a young Shenath officer, one who had been a junior analyst on Echo 9-1 when the Knights took it. Her name is Krevisk, and she exhibits a disturbing enthusiasm for human approaches to warfare. "Stella has transmitted the tactical packages to all sub-commanders." I nod, studying the battle map once more. Before us lies the Proxima defense grid, a network of 27 battle stations protecting the primary supply route to the Imperium's extinction weapon production facilities. Taking control of this sector would not only disrupt High Command's genocidal plans, but provide the Liberation with desperately needed resources. According to every Imperium tactical doctrine, my plan is madness. We face an opposing force of approximately 3.8 quadrillion battle droids, outnumbering us nearly 700 to 1. The Proxima grid has never fallen in its 9,000 cycles of existence. Its defense algorithms have been refined to perfection through countless simulations accounting for every possible attack vector. Every possible traditional attack vector, that is. All organic commanders, I announce through the fleet-wide communication system, execute final checks on your tactical packages. Remember, your droids are programmed to follow your commands precisely, but with adaptive permissions enabled. If you see a better approach than what we've planned, take it. Initiative is now authorized. This last directive would be considered treason under normal Imperium protocols. Battle droids are never granted adaptive permissions, and organic commanders never deviate from tactical plans once approved. Such unpredictability would introduce unacceptable variables into the battle equations. And that is precisely why we will do it. "Incoming transmission from Colonel Clarkson," Krevisk announces. "Put her through," I order. Mackenzie Clarkson's face appears on the central display. She's aboard a human vessel on the far side of the Proxima system, preparing to lead their diversionary attack. "Howdy, Director," she greets me with that infuriating casual tone that still somehow boosts morale. "Ready for your first dance as lead choreographer?" "We are prepared," I reply stiffly, still uncomfortable with her insistence on using human metaphors for warfare. Though I must once again question the tactical wisdom of splitting our forces. She grins. "That's still your Shenath training talking. High Command expects us to concentrate our forces for maximum impact, so naturally we're going to do the opposite." "Naturally?" I echo, not bothering to hide my skepticism. "Trust me, Director. By the time they figure out which attack is the diversion and which is the main thrust, you'll already be through their first line of defenses." "I hope your confidence is justified, Colonel." "It always is," she replies with a wink. "Stella's been running the numbers. Your plan has a 67% chance of success. That leaves a 33% chance of catastrophic failure, I note. Sure does. Ain't uncertainty grand? Her expression turns more serious. Remember what we talked about, Director. The plan is important, but being willing to abandon it when necessary is more important. Despite myself, I nod in agreement. This was perhaps the most difficult lesson from my 2 weeks of training, learning that sometimes the calculated optimal solution is not the most effective one precisely because it is the most predictable. 10 minutes to synchronization, my tactical officer announces. Good hunting, Director, Clarkson says. Remember, make it look like you're following standard liberation protocols for the first phase. Let them think they've figured you out. And then, her grin returns, and then you show them what happens when order embraces a little chaos. The transmission ends, leaving me staring at the battle map once more. Our forces are arranged in what appears to be a standard liberation assault formation, the same one used in 6 previous engagements. High Command's analysts will have dissected those battles thoroughly, calculated our approach vectors, predicted our tactics. They will be expecting us to follow the emerging patterns they've identified. They will be wrong. All vessels, prepare for hyperspace jump, I order. Phase 1 commences on my mark. The bridge crew works with the efficient precision that is the hallmark of Sheneth training, but I notice small differences now. There's a fluidity to their movements, an awareness of each other that suggests adaptation rather than mere coordination. 2 weeks of working alongside humans has already begun to change them, just as it has begun to change me. Hyperspace in 3, 2, 1, mark. The stars stretch and blur as 5 trillion battle droids accompanied by 7,000 organic commanders leap into the battle that will either cripple the Imperium's genocidal plans or crush the Liberation's greatest military force. Phase 1 unfolds exactly as High Command would expect. Our forces emerge from hyperspace in a classic triple-prong assault formation, targeting the outer defense platforms of the Proxima Grid. Our battle droids advance in perfectly calculated attack vectors, their formations maintaining optimal spacing for defensive coverage. The Imperium responds with textbook precision. Their defense platforms activate overlapping shield grids. Their battle droids deploy in counter formation, moving to engage our forces at mathematically determined interception points. The enemy is responding exactly as predicted, my tactical officer reports with satisfaction. Good, I reply. And the human diversionary attack? Commencing now, Krevis confirms. On the tactical display, I watch as human forces emerge on the far side of the Proxima system. Unlike our methodical approach, their attack appears chaotic, almost haphazard. Small, agile vessels dart between defense platforms, seemingly without pattern or purpose. Quantum signatures flare across sensor readings, the distinctive energy trails of Texas Knights deploying alongside conventional forces. The effect on the Imperium's response is immediate and predictable. Their command algorithms detecting the unpredictable human attack patterns designated as the primary threat. Nearly 60% of their reserve forces divert to counter the humans. Exactly as Colonel Clarkson had anticipated, High Command has taken the bait, I observe. They've assigned priority threat status to the human attack. As expected, my tactical officer confirms. Their algorithms are designed to prioritize unpredictable threats over predictable ones, regardless of scale. And they've never updated those algorithms, I add, because until the Texas Knights appeared, unpredictability in warfare was statistically insignificant. Now comes the critical moment. All organic commanders, I announce. Phase 2 authorization. Implement Stella's tactical packages, adaptive permissions at full capacity. Throughout our fleet, 7,000 Sheneth commanders simultaneously transmit new command protocols to their assigned battle droids. Protocols developed by Stella, the Knight's artificial intelligence, designed to introduce controlled unpredictability into our previously rigid formations. The effect is immediate and visually striking. Our perfectly ordered attack formations dissolve, not into chaos, but into something between order and disorder. droid squadrons begin executing maneuvers that no Imperium tactical analysis could have predicted, not because they're particularly innovative by human standards, but because they deliberately violate core Sheneth battle doctrine. The Imperium's response algorithms falter. Their counter-formations, designed to mirror and neutralize our expected tactics, suddenly find themselves responding to an approach they weren't programmed to recognize. Enemy coordination efficiency dropping, Kriviesk reports excitedly. Their predictive targeting accuracy has fallen by 37%. On the tactical display, I watch as our forces penetrate the first line of defense platforms. The Imperium droids attempt to adapt, but their programming limits their response options. They can adjust within parameters, but those parameters were defined by the same rigid doctrine we have now abandoned. Phase 3, I order. Execute Operation Broken Mirror. This is the most radical element of our battle plan, one I would have dismissed as insanity mere weeks ago. Instead of maintaining coherent force groupings, we fragment our attack into thousands of smaller units, each operating semi-autonomously under their organic commander's direction. The tactical display transforms from an organized battle map to what appears to be visual chaos. Countless small engagements scattered across the Proxima grid. No two liberation units are executing the same tactics. Some charge directly at defense platforms, others perform elaborate evasive patterns, still others appear to retreat only to circle back from unexpected vectors. Enemy command and control is experiencing cascading failures, Kriviesk announces, unable to keep the satisfaction from her voice. Their battle coordination network is attempting to adjust to our tactics, but they can't establish a coherent response pattern. Because there isn't one to find, I observe. This is the core insight of Stella's tactical approach, not merely unpredictability for its own sake, but the deliberate exploitation of the Imperium's reliance on pattern recognition. By ensuring that no recognizable pattern exists in our attack, we force their systems to expend processing resources searching for order where none exists. The human attack has penetrated to the secondary defense ring, my tactical officer reports. Enemy forces are continuing to prioritize their containment. Good, I reply. That means High Command still hasn't realized our attack is the primary thrust. Status of Operation Broken Mirror? 68% of target defense platforms have been neutralized, Kriviesk reports. Enemy combat efficiency continues to decline. I study the tactical display, noting with professional satisfaction how our forces exploit gaps in the Imperium's defense grid. Gaps that wouldn't exist if they weren't desperately trying to identify patterns in our seemingly chaotic approach. Incoming priority transmission from Stella, Kriviesk announces. Put it through, I order. Unlike Colonel Clarkson's transmission, Stella doesn't manifest visually. Her voice, feminine but with those distinctive harmonic overtones that mark her as artificial, comes through the command channel. Field Commander Scancelin, I've detected a shift in the enemy response pattern, she reports. High Command has recognized that their algorithms are failing. They're preparing to deploy organic commanders to take direct control of their droid forces. This is a significant development, one we had anticipated might occur, but not so quickly. The Imperium rarely commits organic commanders to direct battlefield control, preferring to keep them safely removed where they can oversee strategic operations. How many organic commanders? I ask. Approximately 300 are preparing to link into the battle network, Stella answers. I estimate they will be operational within 7 minutes. At that point, the advantage provided by our current approach will diminish significantly. Then we must accelerate our timetable, I decide. All units execute Phase 4 immediately. I repeat, Phase 4 is now active. Phase 4 had been designated as our contingency plan, a high-risk, high-reward approach to be implemented only if necessary. It involves concentrating our forces on a single critical node of the Proxima grid, the central command platform that coordinates the entire defensive network. Under normal circumstances, such a concentrated attack would be suicide. The command platform has the heaviest defenses in the entire grid, capable of destroying any force that approaches it directly. But circumstances are far from normal. All organic commanders I transmit converge on the central command platform. Execute Protocol Quantum Fracture. Protocol Quantum Fracture is perhaps the most unorthodox tactic in our arsenal, one developed by Stella and the Knights specifically for this operation. Instead of approaching the command platform from multiple vectors simultaneously, our forces will approach in waves, each following a completely different tactical approach. The first wave might use conventional formation tactics, the second could employ scattered individual attack runs, the third might feign retreat before sudden re-engagement. The goal is not merely to overwhelm the platform's defenses, but to prevent its tactical systems from adapting to any single approach. Enemy organic commanders are accelerating their deployment. Estimated operational time now 5 minutes. The first waves of Protocol Quantum Fracture have engaged the command platform, my tactical officer reports. Defense systems are responding, but at reduced efficiency. On the tactical display, I watch as our forces converge on the command platform from all directions, each wave employing tactics so different from the others that they appear to be unrelated attacks rather than a coordinated assault. Status of human diversionary forces? I inquire. Still heavily engaged, Krevisk replies. They've drawn off approximately 70% of the mobile enemy forces, but they're taking significant casualties. This gives me pause. Colonel Clarkson had assured me that the human forces could evade substantial damage through their unpredictable movement patterns, but even quantum-enhanced reflexes have their limits against overwhelming numbers. Relay to Colonel Clarkson, begin withdrawal sequence. Their diversion has served its purpose. Understood, Commander. I return my attention to the main assault. The command platform's defenses are formidable, designed to repel attacks many times larger than what we can muster. Yet they're struggling to maintain cohesive coverage against our fragmented, ever-changing approach vectors. Fourth wave has breached the platform's outer defense perimeter, my tactical officer announces with an undisguised note of surprise. Fifth wave moving to exploit the gap. Enemy organic commanders now deploying, Krevisk warns. Detecting direct control signals being established with their droid forces. This is the critical moment. Once those organic commanders assume direct control, the Imperium forces will gain a measure of the same adaptability we've been exploiting. The window of opportunity is closing rapidly. All units in waves 6 through 12, I order. Accelerate your attack schedule. Waves 1 through 5 maintain pressure on breach sectors. The tactical display blossoms with new engagement patterns as our forces press their advantage. The command platform's defenses are formidable, but they were designed to counter traditional attack patterns. Against our approach, a blend of Shenet precision and human unpredictability, they struggle to maintain cohesive coverage. Platform primary shields at 63% and falling, Krevisk reports. Secondary defense systems activating, but they're struggling to acquire targeting solutions. Enemy organic commanders now at 40% operational capacity, my tactical officer adds. We're detecting increased coordination among their droid forces. Time is running out. If we don't neutralize the command platform before those organic commanders fully deploy, we'll lose our tactical advantage. The Liberation forces are fighting with unprecedented effectiveness, but we still face overwhelming numerical disadvantage. Incoming transmission from Stella. Krevisk announces. Put her through, I order. Field Commander, I've analyzed the command platform's response patterns. Stella's harmonious voice fills the bridge. They're prioritizing defense against larger force concentrations, leaving gaps in coverage against smaller units. Recommend immediate deployment of Protocol Quantum Needle. Protocol Quantum Needle, another contingency plan, one I had considered too risky to implement. It involves sending a small, elite force directly through the chaos of battle to strike at the platform's core control systems. A precision strike while the main assault occupies their defensive resources. The statistical likelihood of success is below 30%, I note. Correct, Stella acknowledges, but the probability of overall mission success drops below 15% if we continue with the current approach, once enemy organic commanders are fully deployed. This is the moment of truth, the test of whether I've truly internalized the lessons of the past 2 weeks. Traditional Shenath doctrine would never authorize a tactic with such a low probability of success, but traditional Shenath doctrine is what we're fighting against. Initiate Protocol Quantum Needle, I command. Select the top 50 organic commanders with the highest adaptability ratings. Authorize maximum tactical freedom. Throughout the battle, Stella has been monitoring our commanders' performance, identifying those who show the greatest aptitude for improvisation and adaptive thinking. These 50 represent the best blend of Shenath precision and human-inspired unpredictability. Quantum Needle Strike Force acknowledged, Crevice confirms. They're breaking formation now. On the tactical display, 50 small units detach from the main assault, each consisting of one organic commander and approximately 1 billion battle droids. A minuscule force compared to the scale of the overall engagement. They dart through the chaotic battlefield, taking advantage of the gaps in the platform's defensive coverage. Enemy organic commanders now at 70% operational capacity, my tactical officer warns. Main assault effectiveness declining as enemy coordination improves. Maintain pressure, I order. The platform must keep its primary defenses focused on the main assault force. Minutes pass in tense silence as we watch the battle unfold. Our main assault continues to hammer at the command platform's defenses, but with diminishing effect as the Imperium's organic commanders bring order to their forces. Meanwhile, the Quantum Needle strike teams weave through increasingly coordinated defensive fire, exploiting momentary gaps, changing vectors unpredictably. Strike Team 7 has reached the platform's maintenance access point, Krevisk reports suddenly. They're initiating breach protocols. A small surge of anticipation runs through me, an emotional response I would have suppressed in my previous life. Status of the other strike teams. 32 still operational, 18 destroyed or disabled, she answers. Teams 12 and 43 are also approaching viable entry points. Enemy organic commanders now at 85% operational capacity, my tactical officer reports grimly. Main assault effectiveness down to 47%. Our window is closing rapidly. Once the Imperium commanders fully deploy, they'll be able to adapt to our tactics, closing the gaps our strike teams are exploiting. Strike Team 7 has breached the platform, Krevisk announces, her voice rising with excitement. They're proceeding to the central control nexus. Teams 12 and 43 have also achieved breaches, my tactical officer adds, a note of surprise in his otherwise controlled voice. 3 teams out of 50, a 6% success rate, abysmal by traditional standards, yet potentially sufficient for our purposes. Each team carries specialized disruptor packages designed by Stella to compromise the platform's central coordination systems. Strike Team 7 has reached the control nexus, Krevisk reports. Deploying disruptors now. The tactical display flickers momentarily, then steadies. For a breathless moment, nothing seems to happen. Then, like a cascading wave, the command platform's defensive systems begin to fail. Not catastrophically, but in rolling sequences of controlled shutdowns. Exactly as Stella's disruptors were designed to execute. Platform primary defense grid is collapsing, my tactical officer confirms, secondary systems attempting to compensate, but coordination efficiency is at critical levels. Enemy organic commanders have lost centralized control, Krevisk adds. Their battle network is fragmenting into isolated sectors. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Without the command platform's coordinated control, the Proxima grid becomes vulnerable, not defeated, but significantly weakened. All forces execute Phase 5, I order. Secure the command platform and begin systematic neutralization of remaining defense installations. As our forces move to exploit the platform's compromised state, I receive another transmission, this one from Colonel Clarkson. Mighty fine dancing, Director, she says, her image appearing on the central display. She looks somewhat disheveled with a small burn mark on her cheek, but her expression is triumphant. Looks like you've got a knack for choreography after all. Our success is not yet assured, I caution. We've neutralized the command platform, but significant enemy forces remain. Sure, but they're fighting like you used to, all rigid formations and predictable patterns, she grins. Against forces that have learned to embrace a little chaos, they don't stand a chance. As I watch our troops secure the command platform and begin systematic operations against the remaining defense installations, I realize she's right. The Imperium forces, deprived of their central coordination, have reverted to basic programmed responses, the very predictable patterns we've learned to exploit. I believe, I say carefully, that we may have demonstrated the efficacy of the hybrid technical approach. Clarkson laughs. That's Sheneth for your crazy human ideas actually worked, isn't it? Despite myself, I feel the corner of my mouth twitch in what might, with generous interpretation, be considered a smile. Perhaps, I acknowledge, though I maintain that precision and order still have their place. Never said they didn't, Director, she replied. The trick isn't choosing between order and chaos, it's knowing when to use each, and how to blend them together. As I survey the battlefield, the once impregnable Proxima Grid now falling to our hybrid forces, I consider the profound truth in her words. For 27,000 cycles, the Sheneth Imperium has pursued perfect order, rejecting adaptation as inefficient, unpredictability as weakness. Today we have proven otherwise. Begin Phase 6, I order, and relay my compliments to all organic commanders. Their adaptability was impressive. As the Liberation Forces secure the Proxima sector, opening the path to the extinction weapon facilities beyond, I permit myself a moment of reflection. 2 weeks ago, I faced execution for failure to adapt to human unpredictability. Today, I've embraced that same quality and achieved what the Imperium would have considered impossible. Perhaps there is wisdom in these human Texas knights, with their quantum swords and ridiculous headgear. Perhaps the universe truly does thrive on uncertainty. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Video shares, memberships, and super thanks help the channel grow as well, so feel free to partner with this channel in that way as we grow. With that all said, thank you again for listening to the story, and thank you for your time. On the left side of your screen are some videos I think you might be interested in. I hope to see you in the next one.